Welcome to Sunday Brunch.
Yes, the Sunday Brunch edition of Booze Your Own Adventure, where we'll actually be adventuring, which we haven't been doing for a little while. Yeah. So, what are we drinking today, Nella?
Well, because it's Sunday, we're just gonna go classic brunch with some bellinis, which is peach nectar and sparkling white wine.
And so we're going to be talking about the outline this week, but next week we are going to have our guest author. Her name is Lindsay Rebar, and she is the author of The Art of Wishing and The Fourth Wish. It's about genies. So if you want to join us in our discussion of that, make sure you read that before the next episode, which actually will be out a week from this one-ish. I promise, because that one's already shot. I don't have an excuse.
Well, I think at this point we'll announce on Twitter the release date. So you guys know our schedule a little better.
Mm-hmm. We're adults.
Because icons.
We're adults. So obviously we have the interactive element of our project where you suggest to us scenes, tropes, characters, and we have gotten very many, very good ideas. Uncle Neil, for instance, was 1,000,000% not our brainchild.
He is the gift that keeps on giving, and we thank you for him.
But, as with last time, we went ahead and cobbled together a very, very rough possible skeleton. Of an outline. And so what we're going to do now is kind of explain the skeleton for Vividian Saga Book 2. Okay, so in the broadest of strokes, what is this one going to be a parody of? Because we're doing dystopia in the third book.
Yeah. So this one is the parody of New Moon, where our lovebirds where everything was perfect, and then all of a sudden, no, it's not. And it's just the continuation, the long, drawn-out, will they, won't they, where's he gone?
So if you've read Awoken, it's basically going to be a novel-length version of Chapter 19.
Yeah, except, of course, we have to bring in the setup of the ethnic third-wheel love interest.
Yeah.
And his blossoming powers.
Which he has due to his, wonderful exotic ethnicness.
Yeah.
As somewhat inspired by Jacob Black. But also, it's also kind of a dig on things like, well, for one thing, Tiger's Curse, a book that nobody but us read, but we were just so inspired by.
And we highly recommend...
Oh yeah, that's part of your homework.
That's part of your homework.
To read Tiger's Curse. Go ahead and throw that poor author a few bones. Because, we rag on her so much, we could at least give her some money.
And then come back and let's talk about It's Me, Maurizio. Because that's...
And the guru in the wood.
And the guru in the woods!
With the bath bombs and the copper tub that he has for our white princess and the Mediterranean chateau.
So anyway, that's why you have to read it so we can talk about it more in the comments.
And we're going to watch the movie Eat, Pray, Love for inspiration, not read the books, because, that's what Sarah would do.
Yeah.
So we'll do that at some point within the next...
But we really want to play with this whole white person goes to a foreign country to find themselves and white savior trope. That's definitely going to be a big part of this that we're going to be making fun of.
So that's our broad strokes idea. Let's discuss this outline.
Yeah. So, of course, the book's got to open with Andy reflecting on how much her life has changed since she met the one.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And we definitely want to keep the, frame very tight. Of course, everything is awesome. Life is fantastic. She's best friends with his sister. And it's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah, we were didn't want it to be such a knockoff of Twilight, but I guess that's kind of inevitable. So we were like, what happens? I guess he almost sleep eats her soul or something.
Yeah.
Obviously give us suggestions for what this inciting incident could be to make it maybe slightly less of a Twilight knockoff. I don't know. He needs to go find a soul to sate his hunger, and he feels bad. So obviously he's got to A, leave her for her own good, and B, go devour souls somewhere.
Yeah.
And no fucks were given that day about the people who are gonna die.
Oh yeah.
She just obviously is just catatonic.
Yeah, we're definitely not going with the ethical vampires here.
Yeah, no, he's awful and she's awful. It's awesome. Yeah. He doesn't tell her she's going. He just fucking goes. And I think we had this possible reveal that he left a note with Uncle Neil who forgot to give it to her or something like that.
But of course, there's got to be at least 2 scenes where it's kind of it's right there, and Neil's I had never mind. As a side note with Riley, I'm sort of wondering if Like, do we even want to try and do the thing where it's like, well, I was going after, like, a wife beater, like, to feed my soul. Like, it should be like, he goes after...
I get that could be interesting. Well, what do you think? Should he
just be a terrible person who just
should he just go after whoever, or should he go after, like, only the bad ones, like Dexter?
Yeah.
You know? So, he only eats the souls of serial killers now. He's a reformed eldritch horror.
Like dog kickers.
Yeah. He's a reformed eldritch horror.
So Vic's relatives come to school and convinces the teacher to take the class to India. Because why not?
Yeah, and they're in high school. That seems legit.
Yeah, no, it's the big spring break. I think it should also be like a little like missionary thing as well. Like, hey, like pay money to let's go to another country and like build houses.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, they're like
wells.
Habitat for Humanity or something.
Yeah, and
let's
it's
go dig
like,
some holes in the ground.
Yeah,
already there's too much being thought. Too much thought being put into
Well, I think this fits for Sarah Ellenson though, because like it's like she comes from a very religious background. In high school she went on a missionary trip, like
for the
and she just learned so much.
I feel like the
about
Anna-Protestants go to like Dayton, like that's their mission. She goes from Trotwood to Dayton, and that's her big exotic.
So they go to India, and that's like about in the winter spring break. Airport, of course, is right next to the Ganges River.
There are people bathing in it. They fly into India City.
So this is where we.
No, I think we should only call like Mumbai is just only referred to as Bombay, like the whole time.
Ooh.
And so like maybe some people try to correct like whoever's talking, and then like just complete.
Istanbul is Constantinople. Uncle Neil also shows up. We definitely want him driving.
Out of the Ganges.
Driving his car out of the Ganges, like fishing water out of his ear. Like,
what I missed? Why are you here? I forget. There's something I was supposed to tell you or something. Yeah, it's like somewhere in the middle he shows up for some reason. What's the reason, audience?
You would definitely want to crib a little from Transformers.
Oh yeah.
It was that Andy's mom gets high.
Yeah. We need to do some because it's funny. Like, we need to do some Revenge of the Fallen action.
Yeah,
where like mom gets high on. I don't know, like peace pipe. It should be a peace pipe or something.
Yeah. But that's while they're in India. However, when they first get off the airplane, and this is where we start getting into Act 2, a turbaned assassin attacks.
Oh yeah, the turbaned.
Now here's the thing. Everyone will always think all this stuff is for Andy, but it's actually for Vic.
Yeah, and there's going to be like a big reveal in the middle.
Yeah.
That we find out that Vic is actually like. So, like, things will repeatedly happen. Yeah. Things will repeatedly happen. Andy's like, obviously, it's because of me. So, some special things start to happen to Vic. Like, we go to the rat temple, and all the rats just... I feel so dirty. We gotta be really careful about this.
Yeah, I mean...
This is gonna take a deft hand. Yeah, and like, of course, Andy thinks it's all about her. No, it's not. And
well, I mean, what we're just gonna have to do is that, like... In the descriptions, we have to. It has to be in what characters say and not how things are described. This is gonna be really hard, you guys.
We looked up for the Hindi word for like, because we were like, Andy's gotta be the special. Yeah. So we looked up the Hindi word for special, which is I think visesa. I might need a double check any Hindi or Urdu speakers on my pronunciation, because I studied Hindi very briefly, but it was like years ago, and I forget things like the day after I learned them.
Meanwhile, of course, while this is all going on in the background, Bree is having awesome Indiana Jones-like adventures.
Yeah.
Pretty much discovering why Andy can't be the special.
Yeah, she's like, I don't think it's you. It said it had to be someone that was like born of this land. Or... They meet multiple Maharajas, like every town has a Maharaj. Yeah. And then the midpoint, we reveal that Vic is the special and has been the whole time, and somehow or other this ties in with Cthulhu lore somehow.
75% into the story, Riley has to come back. We have to have the scene where Andy almost kisses Vic. Like, I don't know, like magical starlit night, like or music, dancing.
Maybe he's like tapped into his special powers, you know, and like she cannot resist them. She just has a thing for like avatars or.
See, I'm imagining like a big Bollywood wedding that they just get invited to.
That would be kind of awesome.
There's a single red rose. Yeah. No, it shouldn't even come to a kiss. it should just be like, he caresses her with a red rose and then Riley shows up.
Yeah.
And he knows exactly what that means.
Yeah, like, he's seen, like, Cholet. He knows what's up. I don't think the rose was in Cholet.
Anyway, the boys fight. Riley hurts Vic, or Vic's powered now and is actually a match.
Yeah.
For Riley.
And Andy's like, say.
Hey.
Because wasn't the idea behind the special going to be like, turns out he is in fact the 10th avatar of Vishnu.
Yeah.
Kalki, who is destined to bring an end to this world and a beginning to the next.
Yeah, and only she can stop him, obviously.
Or
like maybe this is her destiny all along.
Yeah.
And like
she's the heart of Vishnu.
She is the only one who can ever stop
She's
any
the
evil.
heart of everything.
But she just doesn't listen, because like, why would you leave me? Like, you, and I feel so scorned. You scorned me.
Oh yeah, and now she understands. And she thinks about Scarlet, like, and how this. I wonders if this was the scorn. Could I turn out like her?
Yeah. Now
that I've been scorned.
Yeah. But so that's our end of Act 2, and Vic gets kidnapped.
By.
So this is
our bad guy.
So who's our bad guy, Lindsay?
Oh yeah. Wasn't it Loki? Like.
Oh yeah. No, it's right here. It says by Loki in guise of Indian god.
So Loki.
And I would honestly at this point say, how drunk were we when we were writing this? But I know for a fact we were at a tea place with Lisa, who is super pregnant and therefore can't drink.
Yeah.
So like,
this is
we
just
were so sober.
Sober cracked out.
Yeah.
Which is great. I don't know. I was like, my thought about like Loki was that it's just like Tom Hiddleston, like word for word, he keeps quoting the movies or like skirting the copyright of quoting the movies, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's all Sarah really knows about Norse mythology.
Yeah. Anyway, so Vic gets kidnapped, and then Riley doesn't want to help, even though it would be saving the world. So Andy's on her own, of course, with Bree.
Yeah, we need to find a way to make Riley suck less than he is in this outline, because he's just. I mean, like, he sucks, but he needs to be kind of like an alluring kind of suck.
Yeah,
you know?
so like, you know how like if you were writing a asshole that also still
like a Christian Grey type who sucks, but the readers like for some unfathomable
or like
reason.
This is like, you know how everyone will be like, but by the end of the book, like, she really sort of comes into her own and she's not getting pushed around anymore. And yeah, right. That's exactly what's happening by the third of those books.
Yep. Since it is Loki, we do learn that Vic is in fact not the 10th avatar Vishnu, but some Nordic, the special. Like, he's actually the Nordic special, and it's not going to be the Hindu version of the end of this world and beginning to the next, but the Nordic Ragnarok, which is basically the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same but not. You know, obviously details differ, but that whole vague, like, this world is ending and a new one's gonna begin.
One world ends in fire, the other ends in ice. Like,
oh yeah, I feel like in Hinduism, it's the end of the world is considered a good thing because like this world, I forget the word for it, but it basically means like dark times. It's like Kali something, and it's like this world sucks. But then the 10th avatar Vishnu is going to come and make this world end, and then we're going to have a good age, and it's going to be like the fun, awesome age that sucks considerably less than this age does, and we live in the age of suck. Yeah. And I know I'm doing like complete justice to this, you know,
like really
this really, you know,
in-depth,
proud history and you know,
like deeply religious concept.
The age of suck is what its official term in Hindi, and the ending is basically that, like, the world doesn't end, it is reborn, in fact, surprise. And there's no Thursdays, that was going to be a joke.
no more Thursdays.
But also, it ends with, there is not only a dystopia in this new horrible changed world, but also a matriarchy, and only our heroes have any memory of the way things should be.
Yeah.
And so we're thinking this one's going to end on a cliffhanger. So that is our very, very, very loose skeleton. Obviously, there are a lot of holes that need filling in our plot. And also, what would you like to see parodied in this one that we haven't touched upon yet? Obviously, we dig a lot on things like Eat, Pray, Love, Tiger's Curse, and New Moon, and hinting at things like Divergent, which will obviously come in the third book. But what else?
A little Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
A little.
Of course, Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen.
Yes.
The greatest sequel of all time. She hasn't finished it.
I got like 40 minutes in.
Yeah, we tried once.
So leave your comments. Give us your suggestions.
We talked not only about plot points, but also new characters, new faces. Obviously, Neil kind of takes up all of the awesome for the book, but we'd be interested to see if there are any others.
I think we need a Maharaja guru. Like, it should be like he's a Maharaja, but he's a guru. Like,
no, this is a character that keeps popping up like throughout the book. It's like, I thought you were a Maharaja. Yeah, I'm also a guru. As always, leave your suggestions, comments, and warnings.
yes.
On shayapocalypse.com, where we read the comments. Also, be sure to tweet at us and follow us at shayapocalypse. And remember, next week, we are going to be doing our first author interview. Lisa is going to be filling in for Nella.
I will not be here.
And the week after that is going to be another review. We are going to review John Scalzi's new book, which you can't read because it's not out yet. So we're going to review a thing before it comes out.
Go team.
Exciting. Yay.
You know, that life, it sure does happen, doesn't it, Lindsay?
And again, we are very sorry at our inability to keep to a schedule. Summer is difficult because we are basically not here during the weekends where we tend to shoot and edit. Dim day jobs / cons.
I haven't even been to the beach yet.
I know, I have not been near a body of water and we live literally by the ocean.
Yeah. Our lives are hard.
Our lives are really hard. It's so hard.
It's just so freaking hard.